welcome back to another video where I show you everything I eat in a day for the whole week from Sunday up until Friday. As always, there'll be lunch, dinner, and snacks. I don't really eat breakfast. If I do have breakfast, I'll show you, but it's not likely. I'm just not a big breakfast person. And I will show all my snacks except for fruit. I have some mandarin oranges, I have some apples in the fridge. I'm not going to show that every single time. I don't usually show what I drink because that's just water, the occasional sugar-free soda, tea without sugar, that kind of stuff. But if I do have something with calories or sugar in it, I'll show that. And yeah, like I said, Sunday all the way through Friday, every meal, every snack. And yeah, let's just get started with Sunday. I'm gonna have some sandwiches. Most of my lunches are low-carb, keto-friendly, except on the weekend when I have my cheat days. And here I just have some steak, and I cut open this freezer bag, and I'm using the back of my knife. I don't have a meat mallet, so I'm using the back of this heavy knife, which is blunt, not the sharp end, and I'll just pound that out a bit. And while I do that, in the meantime, I also have like my little contact grill, you know, the panini press kind of thing. I have that heating up, so I'll just tenderize that, pound that out. And you just want to tenderize it. You don't want to completely tear it apart, so don't overdo it. And now the steak is about twice the size it was before, so I'm going to add a little bit of salt. I'll add some pepper. I'm just using some pre-ground this time. Some garlic powder. A little bit of onion powder. And I'll add some mustard powder. And I'll just massage that in on both sides. And that can go on my little grill for a couple of minutes until that's nice and cooked through. And to make my sandwich, I have some ciabatta here that I just sliced open. I'm going to add a little bit of mayo just to help some of the lettuce stick. I'm just using some spring mix. You can use Rocket or something like that. This is just what I had. And I'm going to take my steak and I'm just going to slice that against the grain. Put that on my sandwich. I'll add a few slices of cucumber as well, just for a little extra crunch. And that is lunch for Sunday, some steak sandwich. While I'm editing this week's Sunday Prep Day video, I'm having my bar of chocolate, and this is bittersweet. All right, time for dinner for Sunday. Couldn't be easier. I just cooked some brown rice in the microwave. I'm gonna add my cilantro that I prepped earlier, and I'm gonna squeeze in the juice of 1 lime. And I'll just mix that all together, and I'll get that in my bowl. And I just added the chili con carne that I made earlier. If you wanted to see how I make that, check out the Sunday Prep Day video. I'll link that at the end. And then here, just gonna add a little bit of cucumber just because I have it. And I don't have sour cream on hand, so I'll add a little bit of Greek yogurt. Garnish with some spring onions. And that is dinner for Sunday, some chili con carne with lime cilantro rice, some yogurt, and some cucumber. For lunch on Meatless Monday, I'm having a salad with some spring mix, a bunch of cucumbers on the bottom there, and some different colored peppers. No dressing of any kind because I'm just not a big fan of dressings. For a snack, I'm having some peanuts. Alright, for dinner on Meatless Monday, I'm having some couscous salad with falafel. I'm air frying some falafel right now, and for that, I just cooked up some couscous with some vegetable stock, and to that I will add some parsley, some diced cucumber, some diced peppers. I have red, orange, and yellow here, and a little bit of jalapeno, not too much. And then I will also juice in 1 lime, stir that all together, and I'll get that in my bowl. Add my falafel, and I'll top that with some Greek yogurt. And that is dinner for Meatless Monday, some couscous salad with falafel and some yogurt. For lunch on Tuesday, another simple meal. I have some coleslaw that I prepped in my Sunday Prep Day video. So I made this with red cabbage. So I'll grab some of that. And then here I just grilled the steak the exact same way I did it on Sunday with the same seasoning and everything. So I'm just going to let that rest for a bit and slice that up. And that's lunch for Tuesday, some steak with coleslaw. So for dinner on Tuesday, Taco Tuesday, I'm using some of the leftover chili. I just crisped that up a bit in the pan. And I have some hard shell tacos and a little bit of my spring mix that I had left over. So I'm just going to get my chili in there. add some cheese. And that is dinner for Taco Tuesday, some chili tacos. Let's get lunch going for Wednesday. So I have a pan on the heat with some oil. And I'm just going to add some chicken that I cut up. And I'll get a little bit of color on that. And I'll also add a bit of salt. And to my chicken, I'm going to add up some diced broccoli stems. I'm going to use this instead of rice or noodles or something to keep it low carb. I'll also add some shredded carrots, some onion. I'm using red onion that I just sliced up. Some diced up peppers. I have red, orange, and yellow, but you can use any color. And some chilies. And I'll let all of this saute. And then for seasoning, I'm just adding some curry powder. And that is lunch for Wednesday, a low-carb stir-fry with chicken and broccoli stems. For dinner on Wednesday, I'm going to start off by marinating some beef for some beef skewers. So I have some beef that I cut into big chunks. I'm going to add a little bit of sweetened soy sauce, some onion powder, garlic powder, ginger, and some ground coriander. Mix that up. And this is ready to go in the fridge for a few hours to marinate. And then I'll skewer that before I grill it. All right, let's make some dinner on Wednesday. As you can see, I skewered the beef that we marinated earlier. And now I'm just multitasking a bit. I have one pan on the heat, a frying pan with a little bit of oil. I have a pot of water that's almost boiling now. I have one more pan over here, and I also preheated my little griddle thing. So let's get a few things going. So to the frying pan with a bit of oil, I'm adding my green beans. So I want to make some spicy green beans, and since I still had some peppers left over and some chilies, I'll add those as well. And to that, I'm going to add some sambal, which is a chili paste. And because I have them, I also add a couple of peanuts in that. I'll also add a little splash of water, and that can just stew down. In the meantime, let's get this smaller pan on the heat for my peanut sauce. So here I have a jar of paste for that peanut sauce. It has things like soy sauce in it, peanut butter, spices. So I'll add that. And to that, I'll also add some milk. Just a little bit, and I'll let that paste dissolve into the liquid. If I need to, I'll add a little bit more milk. And if it's too thin, I'll just let it cook down a little bit more. So that's going, that's going. Let's see, the water is boiling. So now I'm just going to add my whole wheat noodles. I can turn that heat off, and that can just steep. And this is heated up, so I can add my skewers and give those a little grill. And I just garnished that with some crushed peanuts and some spring onions. So that is dinner for Wednesday. Whole wheat noodles with a beef satay, some spicy green beans, and some satay sauce. Let's get some chicken marinated for lunch on Thursday. So I have some yogurt here. I have some tandoori spices and some salt. I'll mix that all together. And then here I have some boneless, skinless chicken thighs. I have 2 of them. And I'm just going to make sure every bit of that is covered. And then I'm just going to put that in the fridge, let that marinate for a few hours, and then I'll just grill that in my Ninja Foodi on the grill function for probably about 15 minutes or so. Can't really overcook thighs, so you want a nice crust on it. So yeah, that can just go in the fridge, and then you'll see me again when I plate up. And that is lunch for Thursday, some coleslaw with some tandoori chicken thighs. For a snack, I'm having some beef jerky. Let's get some chicken marinated for tonight. So here I have some gochujang paste. I'm gonna add some rice vinegar, some sesame oil, and some honey. And I will mix that all together. Once that is mixed through, I will add my chicken. I just cubed up some chicken tenders in this case. And I'll make sure they're all covered. And that can marinate for a couple of hours in the fridge, and then that's ready to go for tonight. All right, I'm making some dinner. I have some rice going. Here I have some green beans with some of the marinade that I had left over. And here I have the chicken that I marinated earlier. I'm just sauteing the chicken and the green beans, and then in a moment I'll start plating up. Okay, I have my rice, my chicken, my green beans. While I was waiting for my rice, I also fried an egg. And let's just finish things up. So here I have some of the pickled carrots that I made on Sunday. So I'll add a generous helping of those. Some of the pickled cucumbers that I made. And since I had some in the fridge, let's add some kimchi as well. Top it with the fried egg. And then for a garnish here, I have some sesame seeds. So sprinkle some of those over. And some nigella seeds as well, just for some contrasting color. And that is dinner for Thursday. Some bibimbap with gochujang chicken, spicy green beans, kimchi, pickled carrots, pickled cucumber, and some egg. For lunch on Friday, Fish Friday, I'm having some grilled salmon. I just grilled that in my Ninja Foodi, and I'm having that with the last of the big batch of coleslaw that I made. To start off dinner for Friday, I'm going to marinate some salmon. So here I have some yuzu vinegar. I want to try that out for some extra flavor. Some unsweetened soy sauce, a little bit of sesame oil, some honey, and I will also mix in some spring onions. Give that a stir, and then I'll add in some of this salmon that I cut into chunks. And I'll just let that marinate for a little bit. Now, I was originally going to make a poke bowl with sushi rice, but I decided I was more in the mood for some oat rice. So I have the oat rice, my salmon. I did warm that through because I don't have sushi grade salmon. And then I just did some edamame in some sesame oil. And I'll just add some pickled carrots and some pickled cucumbers. And I'll top it off with this topping, which has like a dried ginger, roasted garlic, sesame seeds, etc. And that is dinner for Friday, Fish Friday. Some oat rice with edamame, salmon, pickled carrots, and pickled cucumber. And that was everything I ate this week. If you like this kind of content, I try to do these videos about once a month. And you can also check out my Instagram where I post every single meal. Now, if you like to see how I prepare some of the things that you saw me use, like the pickles or the chili and that kind of stuff, I'll link the Sunday prep day video at the end, because every Sunday I prep for the week and I make things like that. So when it's time to make lunch or dinner, I can have that on the table in minutes, as you saw in the video. But yeah, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and thank you for watching. Until next time, bye for now.